Last night, you died. Then you flew. Then you showed up naked to an exam you forgot about. Then your teeth fell out. Then you had a conversation with your dead grandmother. And when you woke up, your brain acted like none of that was weird. Every single night, your brain generates a hallucinogenic experience so vivid that you completely believe it's real while it's happening. You spend roughly 6 years of your life in this altered state. 6 years hallucinating. And we still don't know exactly why. I'm a psychologist. I'm going to tell you what we actually know about dreams and what we're still figuring out. Because the answer to why do we dream isn't simple. It's not one thing. And some of the theories are going to surprise you. Before I continue, please hit that subscribe button, like, and share this video with your loved ones. Thank you. Your brain on dreams. Before we get into the why, let's talk about what's actually happening when you dream. You cycle through different stages of sleep every night. Light sleep, deep sleep, and REM sleep. That's rapid eye movement sleep, named because your eyes literally dart around under your closed eyelids while it's happening. REM sleep is when most vivid dreaming occurs. Your brain becomes almost as active as when you're awake. Blood flow to your brain increases. Your heart rate goes up. Your breathing becomes irregular. But here's the weird part. Your body is paralyzed. Completely paralyzed except for your eyes and your diaphragm. That paralysis is protective. It stops you from acting out your dreams and punching your partner when you dream about fighting or running into walls when you dream about fleeing something. Sometimes that paralysis mechanism fails, and people do act out their dreams. There's actually a disorder called REM sleep behavior disorder where this happens, and it can be dangerous. During REM sleep, your prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for logical thinking and reality testing, basically goes offline. That's why dreams feel completely normal while they're happening, even when they're absolutely absurd. You don't question why your childhood dog can suddenly talk or why you're simultaneously at your high school and your current workplace. Your brain's fact checker has clocked out. Meanwhile, your limbic system, the emotional center of your brain, goes into overdrive. That's why dreams are so emotionally intense. Fear, joy, anxiety, confusion, all amplified because the part of your brain that would normally regulate those emotions isn't fully engaged. You dream multiple times per night, usually 4 to 6 REM periods, getting longer as the night progresses. The first dream cycle might last 10 minutes. By morning, you could be dreaming for up to an hour at a stretch. And you forget most of it. You forget about 95% of your dreams within 10 minutes of waking up. They slip away like water through your fingers, and we're still not entirely sure why dream recall is so poor. So that's what's happening. But why? Why does your brain do this? Theory 1. Dreams are meaningless noise. Let's start with a theory that's going to disappoint anyone who thinks their dreams are full of deep symbolic meaning. In 1977, psychiatrists Alan Hobson and Robert McCarley proposed what they called the activation synthesis hypothesis. Their argument was basically, dreams are your brain's attempt to make sense of random neural firing. Here's how it works. During REM sleep, your brainstem sends random signals up to your cortex. These signals activate different brain regions, visual areas, motor areas, emotional centers, completely at random. Your cortex, which is really good at finding patterns and creating narratives, tries to stitch all these random activations into something coherent. That's why dreams are so bizarre. Your visual cortex gets activated and throws up an image of a purple elephant. Your motor cortex fires and suddenly you're running. Your emotional centers activate and you feel terror. Your cortex desperately tries to create a story that explains why you're running in terror from a purple elephant. The story doesn't make sense because the inputs are random. Dreams, according to this theory, are essentially your brain making stuff up to explain static. Hobson later refined this theory. He didn't claim dreams were completely meaningless, just that they're not the symbolic messages Freud thought they were. They're more like your brain doing improved, working with whatever random neural activations it gets. This theory explains a lot. It explains why dreams are so weird and illogical. It explains why they pull from random memories and experiences. It explains why you can't control them. You're not the author. You're watching your brain improvise in real time. But it doesn't explain everything. If dreams are just noise, why do they feel so important? Why do we wake up from some dreams shaken, changed, with insights we didn't have before? Why do dreams across cultures share similar themes? Most neuroscientists now think Hobson was partly right. There is random activation involved, but that dreams aren't quite as meaningless as his original theory suggested. Theory 2. Dreams help you process emotions. Here's where things get more interesting. Matthew Walker, a neuroscientist at UC Berkeley, has done extensive work on how REM sleep and dreaming help us process emotional experiences. His research suggests that dreams are essentially overnight therapy. Think about traumatic or emotionally intense experiences you've had. The memory of the event stays with you, but over time, the emotional sting usually fades. You can think about the breakup or the embarrassing moment or the scary experience without feeling the full intensity of the original emotion. Walker's research suggests that REM sleep is when that emotional processing happens. During REM sleep, your brain replays emotional memories, but with one crucial difference. Norepinephrine, the stress chemical, is almost completely absent. It's the only time your brain is in this state, replaying emotional memories in a norepinephrine-free environment. This allows your brain to separate the memory from the emotional charge. You get to process what happened without being flooded with stress hormones. You're essentially reviewing the experience in a safe space, integrating it, making sense of it, and gradually reducing its emotional intensity. This is why sleeping on it actually works. Studies show that people who sleep after an emotionally intense experience have better emotional regulation the next day compared to people who stay awake. The dreams literally help you process the emotion. Walker points out that this system can break down. People with PTSD often have disrupted REM sleep and recurring nightmares where the emotional intensity doesn't decrease. The trauma keeps replaying with full emotional force because the processing mechanism isn't working properly. Some PTSD treatments specifically target this, using medications that affect norepinephrine during sleep or employing rehearsal techniques to change the nightmare narrative. This theory also explains why we dream about stressful or confusing situations more than positive ones. Your brain is working through what's bothering you. The anxiety dream about showing up unprepared? That's your brain processing feelings of inadequacy or fear of failure. The dream about being chased, processing feelings of threat or avoidance. But emotional processing isn't the whole story either, because dreams do more than just handle feelings. Theory 3. Dreams are memory consolidation. Neuroscientist George Busacki and others have shown that during sleep, your brain is essentially deciding what to keep and what to delete from the day's experiences. You take in an enormous amount of information every day. Your brain can't keep all of it. You'd run out of storage. So during sleep, particularly during REM sleep, your brain replays experiences and decides what's important enough to transfer from short-term to long-term memory. Studies have shown this directly. Researchers can measure the neural patterns when people learn something new, then watch those same patterns replay during sleep, sped up, like watching a video on fast-forward. This replay strengthens the neural connections associated with that memory, making it more permanent. Dreams might be the subjective experience of this memory consolidation process. When you dream about events from your day, your brain is literally reviewing and filing those memories. But it gets more interesting. Your brain doesn't just replay memories during dreams, it remixes them. It takes new information and connects it with old information, finding patterns, making associations, integrating new experiences into your existing knowledge base. This is why students who study before sleep perform better on tests than students who study the same amount but stay awake. It's why musicians improve after sleeping, even without additional practice. It's why you sometimes wake up with solutions to problems you couldn't solve the day before. Your dreams are doing behind-the-scenes work, connecting dots, finding relationships between ideas that you didn't consciously notice. There's a famous example. Dmitri Mendeleev, who created the periodic table, reportedly dreamed the solution. He'd been struggling to organize the elements, and one night he dreamed of a table where all the elements fell into place. He woke up and wrote it down. Whether that story is literally true or embellished, we have plenty of documented cases of people solving problems in dreams or waking with creative insights after dreaming. This happens because during dreams, your brain makes unusual connections. The prefrontal cortex isn't enforcing logical constraints, so your brain is free to link ideas in ways it normally wouldn't. Sometimes those connections are nonsensical, but sometimes they are genuinely creative or insightful. The memory consolidation theory is well supported by research, but it still doesn't fully explain why dreams feel the way they do or why they have the specific content they have. Theory 4. Dreams are threat simulation. Antti Revonsuo, a Finnish cognitive neuroscientist, proposed something called the threat simulation theory. His argument: dreams are an evolutionary adaptation, a safe space to practice dealing with danger. Look at the content of dreams across cultures. Certain themes appear universally: being chased, falling, being attacked, losing something important, being unable to move or scream. These aren't random. They are simulations of threatening situations. From an evolutionary perspective, this makes sense. Our ancestors faced real threats constantly: predators, hostile groups, environmental dangers. Being able to mentally rehearse responses to threats would have been valuable. Dreams might be your brain's way of running drills. You practice fleeing in dreams. You practice fighting in dreams. You experience danger and learn to cope with it, all without real-world consequences. It's a training ground for your threat response systems. This explains why nightmares are so common and why anxiety dreams often involve scenarios where you're unprepared, vulnerable, or unable to defend yourself. Your brain is exploring variations of what could go wrong and how you might respond. Revonsuo's theory has been criticized. Some researchers point out that not all dreams involve threats, and many modern dreams involve situations our ancestors never faced, like technology failing or social embarrassment. But defenders of the theory argue that the underlying mechanism is the same, simulating challenging scenarios to help you prepare for them. Even social anxiety dreams, showing up naked, forgetting a presentation, being laughed at, might be threat simulation. Social threats were just as dangerous to our ancestors as physical ones. Being ostracized from the group could mean death. So dreaming about social failure might serve the same function as dreaming about being chased by a predator. The threat simulation theory doesn't explain all dreams, but it explains a significant category of them. And it suggests dreams have real adaptive value, not just as processing mechanisms but as training tools. Theory 5. Dreams maintain neural circuits. Here's a theory that sounds technical but has fascinating implications. Your brain has circuits for processing different types of information and experiences. Visual processing, spatial navigation, social cognition, motor control, all these require specific neural networks. Some researchers propose that dreams help maintain these circuits, especially ones that don't get used much during waking life. Think about visual processing. You use your visual cortex constantly when you're awake. But what about birth? Fetuses in the womb have REM sleep. They're dreaming before they're even born, before they've seen anything. Why? Some neuroscientists suggest those fetal dreams are activating and developing visual circuits before the baby even opens their eyes. The brain is essentially doing test runs of systems it will need later. Similarly, blind people dream. People who've been blind from birth have dreams with sound, touch, smell, and spatial awareness but no visual imagery. People who lose sight later in life gradually have fewer visual dreams over time. Their visual cortex is being used for other things, and dreams reflect that reorganization. This maintenance theory suggests dreams keep neural circuits active and functional. It's use it or lose it, but at a neural level. Dreaming about running maintains your motor simulation systems. Dreaming about social interactions maintains your social cognition networks. Dreaming about spatial navigation maintains your hippocampal place cells. It's like your brain doing maintenance checks on all its systems while you sleep. And we experience those maintenance routines as dreams. This theory is speculative but increasingly supported by neuroscience. It explains why we spend so much time dreaming. We're literally maintaining the brain's infrastructure. What Freud got wrong and right. We can't talk about dreams without addressing Sigmund Freud. His 1899 book, The Interpretation of Dreams, basically created the modern fascination with dream analysis. Freud believed dreams were the royal road to the unconscious. He thought every dream was wish fulfillment, a disguised expression of repressed desires, usually sexual or aggressive urges that your conscious mind couldn't accept. According to Freud, dreams had manifest content, what actually happened in the dream, and latent content, the hidden symbolic meaning. A dream about riding a train wasn't really about trains. It was about sex. A dream about losing your teeth wasn't about dental hygiene. It was about castration anxiety or sexual inadequacy. Modern neuroscience has pretty thoroughly debunked Freud's specific theories. Dreams aren't coded messages from your unconscious. The symbolism isn't universal. Your dream about a snake probably doesn't mean what Freud would say it means. But Freud wasn't entirely wrong about everything. He was right that dreams reflect your concerns, fears, and desires. He was right that they draw from your personal experiences and emotional life. He was right that analyzing dreams can provide insight into what's bothering you, even if the mechanism isn't what he thought. Carl Jung, Freud's student who later broke with him, had a more sophisticated view. Jung thought dreams were compensatory. They balanced out your conscious attitudes. If you're too focused on logic and rationality during the day, your dreams might be more emotional and intuitive. If you're avoiding something in waking life, it shows up in dreams. Jung also proposed the idea of the collective unconscious and archetypal dreams, certain symbols and narratives that appear across cultures because they are part of shared human psychology. The wise old man, the shadow self, the journey or quest, death and rebirth. Modern psychology is skeptical of Jung's more mystical ideas, but his observation that dreams reflect psychological balance and deal in universal human themes has held up better than Freud's theories. The takeaway: dreams do reflect your psychological state and can provide insight, but not in the coded symbolic way Freud imagined. They are more direct than that. If you're anxious, you have anxiety dreams. If you're working through grief, you dream about loss. If you're excited about something, it shows up in your dreams. Why dream content varies so much? If you compare your dreams to someone else's, you'll notice both similarities and differences. Some things are universal. Some things are deeply personal. The universal themes: falling, being chased, flying, showing up naked or unprepared, losing teeth, being unable to move, appear across cultures. These probably reflect common human experiences and concerns. Everyone knows what it feels like to be vulnerable, unprepared, out of control. Everyone has anxieties about social judgment and physical threat. But the specific content is personal. Your dreams pull from your memories, your daily experiences, your specific anxieties and preoccupations. This is where the continuity hypothesis comes in. Proposed by Calvin Hall and others, it suggests that dreams are continuous with waking life. You dream about what concerns you. Your dreams reflect your personality, your relationships, your daily experiences. Studies support this. People who are more aggressive in waking life have more aggressive dreams. People experiencing life transitions have more chaotic or confusing dreams. Your dream content correlates with what you're dealing with in real life. Culture matters too. People in individualistic societies have more dreams focused on personal achievement and individual identity. People in collectivist societies have more dreams involving family and community. The fundamental experience of dreaming is universal, but culture shapes the content. Trauma significantly affects dream content. People with PTSD have recurring nightmares that replay traumatic events. People with anxiety disorders have more anxiety dreams. People with depression have dreams with more negative emotional content and feelings of failure or loss. Even your diet and sleep schedule affect your dreams. Eating spicy food close to bedtime can increase dream vividness and bizarreness because it raises your body temperature and causes more sleep disruptions. Sleep deprivation followed by recovery sleep leads to more intense dreams because you have REM rebound, your brain trying to make up for lost REM sleep. Medications affect dreams too. Antidepressants, particularly SSRIs, can suppress REM sleep and reduce dreaming. Beta blockers can cause vivid nightmares. Melatonin can increase dream vividness. If you quit smoking or drinking after regular use, you often experience vivid, sometimes disturbing dreams as your brain chemistry rebalances. So dream content is shaped by universal human psychology, your individual experiences and psychology, your current circumstances, your culture, your physical state, and even what medications you're taking. Dreams are deeply personal but follow recognizable patterns. Lucid dreaming. When you know you're dreaming. Some people can become aware they are dreaming while still in the dream. This is called lucid dreaming, and it's fascinating from a psychological and neuroscientific perspective. In a lucid dream, you realize this is a dream while it's happening. Once you have that awareness, some people can control the dream, decide to fly, change the scenario, confront nightmare figures. About half of people have experienced at least one lucid dream. Some people have them regularly. A small percentage can induce them at will. What's happening in the brain during lucid dreaming? Studies using brain imaging have shown that during lucid dreams, the prefrontal cortex, the part that goes offline in regular dreams, partially reactivates. You have just enough metacognitive awareness to realize you're dreaming, but you're still in the dream state. Stephen Leborge, a psychologist who pioneered lucid dreaming research, developed techniques to help people achieve lucid dreams. Reality testing during the day. Regularly checking, am I dreaming? So you do it in dreams too. Keeping a dream journal to improve dream recall. Waking back to bed technique. Setting an alarm for 5 hours after falling asleep. Staying up briefly. Then going back to sleep with the intention of lucid dreaming. Why would you want to lucid dream? Some people use it therapeutically. If you have recurring nightmares, becoming lucid allows you to change the dream or confront what's frightening you. Some research suggests this can help with PTSD-related nightmares. Others use lucid dreaming for creativity or problem-solving, using the dream state's unusual associations while maintaining enough awareness to direct the process. Athletes have used lucid dreaming to practice skills. Your brain activates the same motor circuits whether you're actually moving or vividly imagining movement. So mental practice in dreams might have real benefits. But lucid dreaming isn't for everyone. Some people find that becoming too aware disrupts the dream and they wake up. Others find it unsettling or prefer to let dreams unfold naturally. From a scientific perspective, lucid dreaming is evidence that consciousness isn't binary. You're not simply awake or asleep. There are gradations, hybrid states where you have characteristics of both waking and dreaming consciousness. Can you control your dreams? Beyond lucid dreaming, people often wonder if they can influence their dreams in other ways. Dream incubation is the practice of trying to dream about a specific topic. Before sleep, you focus on what you want to dream about, a problem you're trying to solve, a person you want to see, a scenario you want to experience. Does it work? Sort of. You're more likely to dream about things you're thinking about before sleep. But you can't precisely control the dream narrative. You might dream about the person you were thinking about, but they might appear in an unexpected context or the dream might go in surprising directions. Deirdre Barrett, a psychologist at Harvard, has studied dream incubation. She's found that if you focus on a problem before sleep and keep a dream journal, you're more likely to dream about that problem and sometimes wake up with novel solutions. This makes sense given what we know about memory consolidation and creative problem-solving during dreams. You're priming your brain to work on specific material during sleep. External stimuli can influence dreams too, though not as dramatically as people sometimes think. If you're sleeping and someone sprays water on you, you might incorporate water into your dream, dreaming about rain or swimming. If music is playing, it might appear in your dream. But your brain usually integrates these stimuli into the existing dream narrative rather than waking you up. The totem idea from the movie Inception, using a physical object to test if you're dreaming, is actually based on reality checks used in lucid dreaming practice. The physics of dream worlds are often subtly off. Light switches don't work normally. Text changes when you look away and look back. Your hands might look strange. Clocks show impossible times. But most people most of the time don't have control over their dreams. And that might be okay, because uncontrolled dreams might serve important functions that directed dreams wouldn't accomplish as well. When dreams go wrong, most dreams, even weird or mildly unpleasant ones, are normal. But sometimes dream experiences indicate underlying problems. Nightmares are common, especially after stress or trauma. Occasional nightmares are normal. Frequent nightmares that disrupt sleep or cause significant distress can indicate nightmare disorder, which affects about 4% of adults. Nightmare disorder often responds to imagery rehearsal therapy, where you write down the nightmare, create an alternative ending, and rehearse the new version before sleep. Over time, the nightmare often changes or stops occurring. REM sleep behavior disorder, which I mentioned earlier, is more serious. People physically act out dreams, sometimes violently, potentially hurting themselves or bed partners. This can be an early sign of neurodegenerative diseases like Parkinson's and requires medical attention. Night terrors are different from nightmares. They occur in deep non-REM sleep, usually in children. The person sits up, screams, appears terrified but isn't actually awake and usually doesn't remember it. It's frightening for parents but usually harmless and outgrown. Sleep paralysis is when the REM paralysis mechanism doesn't turn off properly when you wake up. You're conscious but can't move, often accompanied by a feeling of presence or pressure on your chest. It's terrifying but not dangerous. It usually lasts only seconds to minutes. Recurring dreams often signal unresolved psychological issues. The same dream or theme appearing repeatedly suggests your brain is trying to process something that hasn't been resolved. This is where working with a therapist can help, not to decode symbolic meanings, but to explore what the recurring theme might represent in your life. So why do we dream? After all that, you might be frustrated that there's no single clear answer. Why do we dream? Here's what I think, based on the current evidence. We dream for multiple reasons. It's not one thing. Dreams are partly random neural activation that your brain tries to make sense of. That's Hobson's contribution, and it explains the bizarreness. Dreams help process emotions, separating memories from their emotional charge. That's Walker's finding, and it explains why we dream about things that bother us. Dreams consolidate memories and facilitate creative problem-solving. That explains why sleep improves learning and why we sometimes wake up with insights. Dreams might simulate threats and challenges, helping us prepare for difficulties. That explains common nightmare themes and anxiety dreams. Dreams help maintain neural circuits and keep brain systems functional. That explains why we spend so much time in REM sleep and why even fetuses dream. All of these are probably true simultaneously. Your brain is doing all of these things when you dream, just like your smartphone is doing multiple background processes at once. Evolution doesn't create single-purpose solutions. It cobbles together systems that serve multiple functions. Dreaming likely started as one thing, maybe the neural maintenance function, and got co-opted for other purposes as brains became more complex. The question isn't what is the function of dreams. It's what are the functions of dreams? Plural, multiple, overlapping. What your dreams can tell you. Given everything we know, what should you make of your dreams? They are not prophecies or messages from supernatural sources. They are not coded symbols that need expert interpretation. But they are not meaningless either. Your dreams reflect what's on your mind and what you're feeling. Pay attention to the emotional tone more than the specific content. A dream where you're anxious about an exam might not literally be about the exam. It might be about any situation where you feel unprepared or judged. Recurring dreams or themes are worth exploring. What situations in your life make you feel the way you feel in those dreams? What might your brain be trying to process? If you want to learn from your dreams, keep a dream journal. Write down what you remember immediately upon waking. Over time, you'll notice patterns and remember more. You'll get better at recognizing your personal dream symbolism. Not universal symbols, but what means what to you specifically. But don't obsess over dream interpretation. The value isn't in decoding hidden messages. It's in reflecting on the emotions and concerns your dreams reveal. Your dreams are giving you information about your psychological state, just not in code. They are pretty direct if you pay attention to how they make you feel. The mystery remains. Despite everything we've learned about the neuroscience and psychology of dreams, they remain somewhat mysterious. We still don't know exactly why dream recall is so poor. We still don't fully understand why some people dream in color and others in black and white. We still can't predict what specific content will appear in any given dream. We don't know if animals dream the same way we do, though we know many mammals have REM sleep and show signs of neural replay during sleep. Your dog probably is dreaming about chasing squirrels, but we can't know what that subjective experience is like for them. We don't know why some people rarely remember dreams and others remember multiple detailed dreams every night. We don't know why some people can control their dreams and others never achieve lucidity. And we don't know if consciousness requires a waking brain, or if the consciousness you experience during dreams is fundamentally different from waking consciousness. These are philosophical questions as much as scientific ones. What we do know is that dreams are universal. They serve important functions, and they are a natural part of healthy sleep. You need to dream. People deprived of REM sleep become increasingly desperate to enter it. The brain compensates by increasing REM pressure until you get what you need. Dreams are one of the most human experiences we have. They are weird, sometimes frightening, sometimes beautiful, always personal. They connect us to our unconscious processes, our emotions, our memories, our creativity. Every night, your brain creates a private universe, populates it with people and places and impossible scenarios, and lets you experience it all as if it's real. Then it mostly erases the evidence and starts fresh the next night. That's extraordinary when you think about it. The practical takeaway. So what should you do with all this information? First, prioritize sleep. If you're not getting enough REM sleep, you're not dreaming enough, and that has real consequences for memory, emotional regulation, and creativity. Most adults need 7 to 9 hours of sleep, and you need to complete multiple sleep cycles to get adequate REM sleep. Second, pay attention to your dreams without overinterpreting them. They have valuable information about your psychological state, but they are not mystical messages. Notice patterns. Notice how dreams make you feel. Use that information to understand what's on your mind. Third, if you're dealing with recurring nightmares or dreams that significantly disrupt your sleep or well-being, talk to a therapist. There are effective treatments, and you don't have to just live with it. Fourth, if you're interested in lucid dreaming, experiment with it safely. Keep a dream journal, practice reality testing, try the techniques. But don't force it if it doesn't work for you. And finally, be curious about your dreams. They are one of the most interesting things your brain does. 6 years of your life spent in this altered state, that's worth paying attention to. We dream because we're human, because our brains are complex enough to generate these elaborate nighttime narratives, because we need to process, to consolidate, to prepare, to maintain, because evolution shaped us to do this, and it serves us well even if we don't fully understand all the mechanisms. Your dreams are yours. They come from your brain, your experiences, your psychology. They are as unique as you are, but they connect you to universal human experiences that people have wondered about for thousands of years. So tonight, when you close your eyes and your brain starts its nightly performance, when you fly or fall or find yourself in impossible places doing impossible things, remember that this is your brain doing its job. Processing, preparing, consolidating, creating. It might be random neural noise shaped into narrative. It might be overnight therapy. It might be memory filing. It might be threat simulation. It might be neural maintenance. It's probably all of those things at once. And it's still, after all we've learned, one of the most fascinating mysteries of human consciousness. Sweet dreams.